Welcome back to Success with Steven. My name is Steven Smith. On this channel, we talk about all things financial literacy. And today we're going to be looking at the top 4 banks that approve a new business for business lines of credit. Small business owners occasionally need to make a big purchase or pay an invoice when their cash is low. And that's why having financing options is critical. And you want to have both business credit cards as well as business lines of credit. There are a lot of similarities when it comes to business credit cards versus a line of credit. So we're going to do a quick overview and then we'll talk about the top 4 banks that you can get for a business line of credit with a brand new LLC. So first, let's talk about a business line of credit. The business line of credit lets you borrow up to a certain amount of money and will only charge interest on the money that you borrow. So unlike a regular loan where you just get a lump sum of money and now you have to pay interest on this lump sum, you can kind of choose exactly how much interest you would like to pay on the amount of money that you are going to borrow. Now, this is ideal when you're trying to make a purchase that requires cash where you cannot use a credit card. I do believe in most instances when you have a business, a lot of things can be taken care of with a credit card. But in those instances where it cannot be used, you have the option of using a business line of credit. And while, yes, there are options for liquidation, there are also business credit cards that have restrictions against that. And if you were to do that with these particular cards, your account can be flagged, restricted, or worse, shut down. A simple way to avoid that, you have these different flexible options where, again, chances are you won't really need to use this that often, but when you need it, it's good to have it there. A line of credit may work best if you need to make a larger purchase, since credit lines typically have higher line amounts other than your credit card. And if you aren't sure how much or when you need to make this payment that's going to be in cash, then this is going to be good for projects or expansion or payroll floating, things of that nature. And business lines of credit often have limits up to 100,000 and sometimes can be as high as 250,000. There's going to be some examples on here. And once you get well established and you have business documentation, you can also look at 500,000 business lines of credit or higher if you need that. They're also convenient because you can withdraw from the line of credit by using your debit card that you get from your business bank account. It really is just like having the money and you can withdraw it at cash, swipe it. It's very convenient for you to use it when you do need it. And most of us know how business credit cards work because if we have any personal cards, pretty much it's the exact same way. So credit cards can be ideal for making routine business purchases that you don't need to pay for with cash or check or anything like that. It's also good for record keeping. That's one of the most important things, such as supplies, travel, outings that you are going to write off as business expenses. There's a lot of popular accounting softwares, but a lot of institutions have this built in now where you can upload transactions from your business credit card automatically. When I go out to eat and I use the American Express business card, I can take a picture of my receipt. I write down if I had a business conversation or meeting on the receipt, and then it scans it. Now I have this later on when I need it at the end of the year. So it does make it easier to include these purchases for bookkeeping records and claim your deductions at the end of the year for these purchases. So now we should have a good idea of what the difference is between these business lines of credit and these credit cards. So let's move on to the actual banks that we're going to be looking at to qualify for these business lines of credit. The first one is going to be Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo has the Small Business Advantage line of credit for customers that are in business less than 2 years. There's no annual fee. You can get lines of credit from $5,000 all the way up to $50,000. It's a revolving credit line and it's rates as low as the prime rate plus 4.50%. And then automatic enrollment in a free rewards program is offered as well. Now, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the prime rate. So the prime rate currently is 8.50%. If you were to combine that with the 4.50% that Wells Fargo is offering, you have 13%. And to give you some perspective, let's say you were to take a $50,000 revolving credit line and you were to take that entire amount at 13%, you'd be paying around $6,500 in interest. And that's going to be probably like a 12-month time frame. And these are rough numbers, but essentially it'd be around $561 a month, something like that. that you would have to pay in interest. Now, if you're using your money and leveraging it to make money, if you took $50,000 out and you made 100% gain, that means you're going to pay back the 50, and then you're going to have $6,500 less. So you'll end up with $43,500 in profit. So if that makes sense to you, then that's good. Again, this would only be a situation where you need to use cash as opposed to using credit line. And there probably aren't too many instances, and you probably won't be using the entire 50,000. So again, this is situational, it's circumstantial, but that's actually not bad if you have a plan and you know that you've thought this through and you know that this makes a lot of sense. It's a calculated risk to potentially make a good amount of money. Then, hey, this is going to work out very well for you. All right, we are now on the Wells Fargo website. We're looking at their 2 business line of credit products. Let's take a look at some of the other ones that we won't be looking at, but just so you have an idea of what they may offer if you need it in the future. So the Wells Fargo unsecured business line of credit, this is going to be for customers in business 2 or more years. New customer offer no annual fee for the first year. So there will be an annual fee in year 2, not in year 1. This can range from $10,000 to $150,000 in revolving credit line, with rates as low as the prime rate plus a 1.75% interest rate. So once you get about around 2 years, if you're looking to maybe upgrade the other business line of credit with Wells Fargo, then this would be a very good option. You also have automatic enrollment in a free rewards program, as well as you do with the Wells Fargo Small Business Advantage line of credit, which is the one that we're going to be focusing on, which is for customers in business less than 2 years. And we already went over this, the no annual fee, the range, the prime, and the rate that they're going to be charging you. But what I like about this one is that they actually tell you what is taken into consideration when you're preparing to apply for this particular business line of credit. So typically, guarantors have a FICO score of at least 680 at the time of application. It's really nice that they let you know all this information up front. A business line of credit account requires personal guarantees from any owner with 25% or more ownership. So if there's anyone else on here that owns 25% of more of your business, then they'll need to be included on the application. Now, a small business advantage line of credit account requires personal guarantees from any owner with 20% or more ownership in the applicant business, with a minimum combined aggregate of 51% ownership. Additional information related to applying for credit can be found at our Small Business Resource Center. So this is all information that you want to keep in mind. So all business applicants are unique and some exceptions may apply. All applicants are subject to final credit approval, and then you can apply now, and then they'll match your request to the appropriate line that's based on your product eligibility. So you can apply online. Another recommendation, if you have a good relationship with your Wells Fargo branch, you may want to go in person with your personal banker and you can apply with them. It's always good when you do that and you build that rapport. The second bank on our list is going to be Chase. Now the lines of credit are starting at $10,000. They're going to $500,000. It's a 5-year revolving term with potential to renew thereafter. And then there's a 5-year repayment term. There's a variable rate indexed to the prime, and the interest rate is based on such factors as banking relationships, credit history, and the collateral that your business is willing to put up. Now, I did get some data points on what it takes to get qualified for this particular business line of credit, and you need a consumer or business credit report that is free of bankruptcy, free of judgments, and that shows evidence of consistent on-time payments. You need to have a FICO score of 700 or higher from the credit bureaus when they're doing the review. More than likely, that's going to be with Experian. You also need a net annual outside income of at least 50% of the requested amount or line amount. Your net annual outside income is after tax earnings from a source other than your business. So that's basically just saying that if you ask for a $50,000 line of credit, you need to make at least $25,000 on your personal income, and that needs to be after taxes. One thing to keep in mind when you're applying for this, you will need to go into a branch. You cannot apply for this one online. You will have to go talk to a banker. Again, like I was saying previously, I recommend that you go down to Chase. If you haven't set up an account with them, open up your checking account, open up your savings account, get your credit card, and you could do it with the banker there with Chase. Build that rapport, build the relationship, make those deposits. That way you have a good internal relationship with Chase, as well as a personal relationship with a banker inside of the branch. Then when you're ready, I would apply for this business line of credit. I'm not going to say it increases your chances, but I sometimes feel like your outcome sometimes can be based off of the person you're speaking with. And for this particular business line of credit, if you have to do it in a branch, then yes, I would highly recommend building that type of relationship with that person in the branch, your personal banker, the branch manager, whomever it may be, just because at least when you have someone to go to bat for you, let's say there was a situation where they may be something that can be done for reconsideration, that might make the difference between you getting approved and between you getting denied. So it's always good to just go the extra mile, take those steps, and just speak with someone and just build some rapport. The next bank on our list will be US Bank, US Bank business line of credit. This one is going to be for customers less than 2 years, but there is a minimum requirement of 6 months. You do need to be in business for at least 6 months. This can be credit lines up to $250,000. They have competitive rates with the option to lock in a fixed rate on an existing balance. It is accessible with the Visa Platinum card, convenience checks and online banking, business service center, or at a branch. It's $0 for lines greater than $50,000. If the line is less than $50,000, it's $150 for you to start the business line of credit. Let's go over to US Bank and then get more information on this particular one. Access working capital to help you run your business. Why do you need a business line of credit? For sudden expenses, cash flow needs, and major purchases. A line of credit allows you quick and easy access to your available funds. Now, the one that I'm going to be focusing on, there's a business line of credit for purchase materials, equipment, or inventory. There's one for overdraft protection. There's also one for use with real estate if you're going to be using that as equity. The one that we're going to be focusing on, though, is going to be the managed cash flow, the cash flow manager business line of credit. It's up to $250,000. It's used to manage your cash flow. They have competitive rates with the option to lock in a fixed rate. Those are all things that I like. Now, if we go to apply now, there's two different options. There's the secured. Collateral is needed. So you can use your business assets as collateral to get a lower interest rate, and you can also get lines up to $250,000. But what I'm going to be looking at is the unsecured. There's no collateral needed. Remember, this is a brand new business. What collateral do we have? Higher interest rates. That is the the drawback to doing it this way. And the line is up to $100,000. But let's start the application. I just want you to see some of the things that you'll need. So before you apply for a cash flow manager business line of credit, you'll need the date your business was established. The minimum requirement, again, is 6 months. You'll need the industry code that best describes your primary business activity, and you can search by keywords or NAICS code. Now, you guys already know from business structuring that depending on your business code, if you are in a high risk industry, you can have great personal credit, you can have the history, you can have the income, but you may get rejected because of your industry. So keep that in mind. Now, if you have not been a US Bank customer for at least 12 months, your business must be in one of the following areas: Arizona, Arkansas, California, Colorado, Idaho, Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Kansas, Kentucky, Minnesota, Missouri, Montana, Nebraska, Nevada, New Mexico, North Dakota, Ohio, Oregon, South Dakota, Tennessee, Utah, Washington, Wisconsin, and Wyoming. Note, in North Carolina, South Carolina, and Texas, product availability depends on your zip code. And then to learn more and see if your zip code qualifies, you can call and find out there. And then if you have a business with multiple owners, online applications need to include everyone that has a ownership stake of 20% or higher. The minimum ownership must add up to at least 51%. Up to 5 owners can apply. So this is all things that you want to keep in mind before you get started. As far as FICO scores and data points, wasn't really clear on that. However, what I would recommend is having the same criteria that you saw from some of the other ones, having a FICO score of at least 700, right around there. I would do that for Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax because it varies where this pull from. It can be based off of the region that you are in. So I would just make sure all 3 were 700 across the board. Other than that, as long as you keep these things in mind, then you shouldn't have any problems getting qualified for this business line of credit with U.S. Bank. Now, the last bank on our list is going to be American Express. Now, for this entire video, it was supposed to be for new LLCs, but this was one that I had to put on here because it is, to me, it's the easiest one that you can possibly qualify for. They make it very simple. And if you already have a relationship with them, like you got their business credit cards, it's probably going to be a layup for you to get approved for this one. So American Express business line of credit offers line sizes from $2,000 to $250,000. You have to at least be 18 years of age. You have to have started your business at least 1 year ago. So it does require you to be in business for 12 months. But I think that is still fairly new. And more than likely, you are going to get one of their credit cards. So you can just use this in tandem after the first year. And there'll be plenty of different options that you have when you're first starting off. So you need to have a FICO score of at least 660. I would say for this video, from the data points that I was able to get, this is the lowest requirement that you have from any other institution. The rest are requiring 700 or higher. This is the lowest, and you need to have a recent average monthly revenue of at least $3,000. You can do that with personal. That is, a very, very small requirement that you need to have in order to qualify. So let's go on to the site and we'll take even more, a detailed look at what exactly this is going to entail. Now, focus on growth with a business line of credit, American Express business line of credit. And this is the line size that they offer. Now, it does state right here, only select customers receive the initial line size over 150,000. Now, that would lead me to believe if you go for something over 150,000, then you may have to send in documentation. Below that, from what I've seen, you don't need it. $50,000 is definitely feasible for this one, especially if you have built a relationship over 1 year with them. So get the credit cards first. Let that be your entry into building this relationship. Nurture those, use them correctly, and then come here and do this. And we already went over the criteria, and this is what's required to apply. But you can go here. How do I apply? Make sure your application process is smoother by preparing these items in advance. You'll need your business tax ID. You'll need your social. You'll need the industry of your business. We all should know that when we're doing the structuring, what our SIC code is or our NAICS code. You need an estimated annual gross revenue for your business. Again, you can use projections of what you're expecting to gross. After 1 year, more than likely you'll have something, but again, you can still use the projection for that. And then you will also need to link a business bank account to your application, and you can follow these step-by-step instructions to help link a bank account. Now, you can also look at linking an American Express business bank account. They do offer those, and you can use that and link it right to this. It makes it very easy. And it lets you know here, focus on the growth. It's a quick application. The online application only takes minutes. So when you connect your business accounts to your business line of credit at the time of the application, your financial info is reviewed in real time for an efficient decision. So if you want to just link your bank account to here, they'll be able to look it over. It's assessed instantly. You get this flexible access that you can use it when you need it, with no prepayment penalties if you want to pay early. You also get term options from 6, 12, 18 to 24-month loan terms, options with a corresponding monthly fee. This will vary and be based on your credit worthiness, and it will also depend at the time that you apply. Things are subject to change, so it looks like they don't even list what the interest rates are. More than likely, it's based off of the prime rate. That is probably going to change in the next few months. It's actually looking very positive that this rate will be going down. And you only pay for what you use. So pay a fee only on the amount that you use during the months you have an outstanding balance. If you don't have the outstanding balance for more than 1 month, then it's a very simple, easy repayment term with very low fees. An instant deposit when you draw from your business line of credit and select your American Express business checking account as your deposit account, the funds are available immediately. So if you open up a business account with them and you decide to transfer these funds, you will have them instantly on that account. Thank you for watching. These are the top 4 banks that you can get for a business line of credit with a brand new LLC. There was one more I wanted to go over, but I may save that one for a separate video. If you have used any of these business lines of credit, please drop a comment below. I would love to hear about your experience with them. What were the requirements? Was there any documentation that you had to present? Was it easy? Let us know how that process was for other people to be able to share that information so that they know how easily or maybe how difficult it may be for them to get approved. Which is the one that you're most interested in that you may be willing to actually get. Please let me know. And if you have any other questions besides that, just leave them in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and you guys have a wonderful day.